progressed 4-3 on aggregate. Big effort from Barcelona, but not quite enough. Hansi Flick had planned for 2 goals in each half without reply. Nearly made it, but in the end, Atleti held on. Luis Garcia was watching this game. For your reaction to the final result and the fact that Atleti are through, Luis?
Yeah, exactly. I think that we thought from the very beginning that was going to be a big task. Not because we didn't believe that Barcelona could manage to get the result or score and win the game, but going through is a different thing. Scoring 5 goals actually to go through, at least to arrive to that extra time. It was important, and I think that we saw a very exciting game. Barcelona did what they have to do. They scored. They arrived to the last part of the game with options to get the equalizer, and Atletico Madrid just defend. I think that for Barcelona was more complicated in the second half. We saw a lot of players that were tired. The ideas were not there. I think they rushed even a little bit too much, putting Araujo just as a center forward when they still 20 minutes to be played. But in the end, it wasn't enough. 3 goals, fantastic goals. Well worked, and Atletico Madrid will deserve. I think that Barcelona threw away the option of playing in the final in the first leg, and it was just too much to task to go and score 4 goals today to at least go to extra time.
Damage done in the first leg, Ale.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing to criticize about Barcelona's performance today. Today, they were outstanding. The amount of pressure that they put on Atletico Madrid, how they were able to press and repress the ball and force turnovers and be on top of Atletico Madrid and creating opportunities and creating chances and scoring goals and building momentum. In the end, I think it's something that Luis just mentioned there. They seem to run out of ideas and run out of legs because they have put so much of the effort in the first 45 minutes in trying to give themselves a sense of belief that maybe, just maybe, they were going to be able to do this. Again, about today's performance, you really would have to nitpick and kind of say, well, they could have done this or they could have done that. You won the game. You dominated Atletico Madrid in every facet of the game. You won it 3-0, but you needed 4. And so to your point, yes, everything was done or all the damage was done in that first leg. As for Atletico Madrid, I don't know if I should congratulate Atletico Madrid in going through to the final. Then they certainly don't care whether I congratulate them or not, and Diego Simeone wouldn't care either. They just want to be through, and that's it. I just think there is so much more for this team to give in terms of challenging Barcelona's possession today. They were so accommodating for Barcelona and just withstanding pressure and sitting behind the ball and inviting Barcelona. Fine, invite Barcelona all you want, but you have to have a threat in the attack that can turn Barcelona around. We kept saying, leading into this match, we have no question that Barcelona is going to score. The question is whether they can keep Atletico Madrid from scoring. And Atletico Madrid never really gave themselves an opportunity to go and try to test Barcelona. The last, I guess, 5-10 minutes of the first half, we saw a little something different from Atletico Madrid. But then after that, it's just further back and further back and further back. They themselves, I think, made this far more stressful than it needed to be, unable to really handle and manage the game the way it should have. And they were essentially so vulnerable to the pressure of Barcelona and unwilling and unable to play beyond that pressure. Give credit to Barcelona. They made it that kind of game, and Atletico Madrid just said, well, you know what? We're just going to hang in there, and hopefully we're going to get through rather than play their way out of it.
And they did, so they are through, and they've got to be favourites now, Luis. Obviously, it's going to be Real Sociedad or Athletic Club. They've got to be favourites to do what they did back in 2013 and win this.
Yeah, on paper, yes, because Atletico de Madrid, because they are higher on the table, but I have to tell you that the Athletic Club de Bilbao is not an easy game, much more in the Cup. You know that they managed to bring that inspiration in these kind of moments. And Real Sociedad, with the Rino Materazzo, the new coach, has been a totally different team that we saw in the beginning of the season. I think they only lost one time in the last 10 games, something like that, and playing well and being aggressive and being intense like we've seen today Barcelona. So any of the teams, I think they are going to put a very competitive game in the final. We'll have to wait and see. But on paper, we should say that Atletico Madrid is favored because of the history, because of how they are right now on the table, but not because of what we saw tonight's game.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, and make sure that we pointed out how much of a damage this is for Barcelona. Not necessarily because they're not advancing into the final Copa del Rey and missing out on an opportunity to win a trophy. And that in itself is one story. But think about the injuries today. Jules Koundé out, Alejandro Valde out, who had just come on from Jules Koundé. You already have concerns coming into this game in terms of some of the injuries that you have had. Mentally and physically exhausted from this match, and then you have to play against Athletic Club Bilbao this weekend. And so you think about moments in a season that you invest so much into this game because you needed to win this game, desperately so, for nothing, and you put everything physically and mentally into it. Now you have injuries, now you have concerns, and now you have to prepare for a difficult match this weekend as well. It's not just about having lost the opportunity to go into Copa del Rey final, it's everything that comes with it, and I think there will be a hangover from this match for Barcelona, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, obviously the mental side of things there, but as Ali said, it's been hard to criticise Barcelona in this second leg because of what we saw from them. Obviously, before the game, Luis, there was a lot of talk about Lamine Yamal and how with him it was massively a possibility, and he definitely gave his all tonight.
Yeah, we saw that he was trying from one side, the other, right, left, crossing, shooting, and trying to assist. This one was fantastic. He had the change of pace and finding the Bernal in the middle. It was great. And he was trying. I think that we cannot, even that he didn't score tonight, or well, he gave the assist, but until the last minute he was fighting, he was running, he was trying to create chances and opportunities for the teammates. Actually, he was one of the leaders of this Barcelona in the last third, and let's not forget that he's only 18 years old. So I think that Lamine Yamal make a step forward today, something that he was missing in other big games. And when he disappeared a little bit, when he wasn't that much involved, but today it was the Lamine Yamal that we all expected. Even so, that Atletico Madrid put a lot of players around, a lot of trying to double up in that side to keep him tight, but he managed to get away and at least give one other assist and a lot of danger in that right side.
I wish, Kay, that you could ask the same question, not just to Luis or me, but to Ruggeri, Matteo Ruggeri. The defender today who had to deal with Lamine Yamal. That man is going to rest very well. And tomorrow night and the night after that. He could not keep up. There were so many moments in which Lamine Yamal getting one of these and Ruggeri's just, ay, mami. And he said, you know when you're swimming like this? When you're chasing a player like that, it's because he's done you and done you dirty. Well, this is exactly what Lamine Yamal was doing over the course of 90 minutes against Matteo Ruggeri, or anybody for that matter, because when he went over to the left-hand side, he was doing exactly the same thing. Without scoring a goal, and Luis just mentioned it, he was still outstanding. He was still the best player on the field and had an impact on everything that Barcelona wanted to do in the attack. Today was one of those days in which you see Lamine Yamal play and you go, man, oh man, this is something. And just think about what's to come from this player. Whenever he grabbed the ball and changed of pace, there was nothing that any of the defenders that were around him for Atletico Madrid could do. They needed all the help that they could get. Lamine Yamal was unstoppable, and still that wasn't enough.
When you said about the game that's coming up this weekend, though, and how this has become dangerous for them, Luis, is that something you agree with what Ale's saying, that this Athletic game is going to be dangerous now for Barcelona this weekend?
Yeah, big time. And he mentioned about the two injuries, but we saw Bernal going on the floor, a massive effort. Pedri, he came from an injury. I'm sure that Hansi Flick didn't want to use him that much, and he made a big effort during the whole game. Even in the last minute of the game, he was running back with Sorloth, and we saw him just grabbing his groin a little bit. So this kind of games, that they not only drain you physically but also mentally, and we saw the two injuries. But against Athletic Club, you know that if you want to keep up with to being in the top of the table, you have to win it because Real Madrid is not going to give you any chance. So Athletic Club is not an easy game. It's always very physical, and that's something that Barcelona doesn't have right now. That physicality that they used today, I think it was just too much, and it was a very, very demanding game. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see who all the players are going to be having problems, and the rotation has to be very well organized because definitely it can punish very much Barcelona, not for now, but yes for the next month.
Gemma, tell us what who you've caught up with after the game and what the overall feeling is about what we saw tonight.
Hey Kay, I think it's the first time I'm in a semi-final where, of course, a team goes to the final and the other not. But it's like overall, all of them are happy because, of course, Barcelona players are frustrated. We had the chance to talk to Joan Garcia and Rafinha, and that had that frustration. But at the end, if they had to fall from this final, it had to be this way. They fight until the very last second. The atmosphere here was amazing. They just needed that extra goal, but they had to overcome so many adversities, the injuries before the match, during the match, Araujo playing as a striker. So everything happened to the team. And also Rafinha, one of the captains, one of the veterans, one of the leaders of this team, he said to me that this is a very important lesson, that he thinks it would be very important for La Liga and for the Champions League, because they realize today that playing like this, they can overcome any challenge. And I think it's a very important game. Pedri was absolutely fantastic. Lamine Yamal, despite not scoring today, was amazing. Marc Bernal, a star is born, if it wasn't already at the Camp Nou, reminding us so much of Sergio Busquets, but being able to score 4 goals in 4 games for this midfielder. So it was a very nice night, despite the defeat, we can say like this overall, because the public stayed after the final whistle, and the players say thank you to them, and it was the other way around. And for Atletico, I got the chance to talk to Diego Pablo Simeone, and the conclusion is that they managed to make it to the final, comparing the 2 games. In the 2 games, they managed to be better. The light has gone off because I'm talking too much. So they are happy because it was the 3rd semi-final. It was the 3rd semi-final in a row for Atletico de Madrid. Eventually, they make it to the final. And let's remember the last final of the Copa del Rey 13 years ago at the Bernabeu. They managed to win it there. So they won another final.
Yes, against Real Madrid back then.
True professional, Gemma. So we're just working right
The
through.
light comes back on. I'm glad, though, because we want to ask you, Gemma, the feeling's been here in the studio, but because of those injuries for Barcelona, obviously there's going to be some tired legs as well. That game against Athletic at the weekend could be dangerous for them.
Yes, because if there's something you need at San Mamés, that is physicality. And the last minute, I was looking at Lamine Yamal. Pedri was touching the bicep femoris, everything, so I was checking them. Marc Bernal was absolutely tieso. I don't know how to say it in English, Ale. And,
that would be
they
hamstring.
Were,
hamstring.
After the final... Okay, so after the final whistle, they just could lay in the turf, and they were absolutely destroyed. I don't know if Pedri will be able to play that game because it demands so much of physicality. The good thing on the other side is that Real Madrid made them a favor yesterday, and they also got a very complicated game, Arbeloa squad against Celta Vigo, so maybe Hansi Flick, because they also have Newcastle, so maybe there will be some rotations, even though it's going to be very demanding winning against Athletic Club.